Hi, I'm Teresa V, and I help you come back to yourself in a world that's always trying to pull you away from you. At any given moment, there are only two forces at work in our lives: love or fear. This may sound overly simplistic at first, but think about it. I'm not saying there are only two emotions we experience. Of course, we experience joy and grief, anger and excitement, sadness and hope. But underneath each of those experiences, we're either moving from a place of contraction or a place of expansion. Fear contracts, love expands. Every single choice we make in our lives, no matter how small we think it is, moves us towards one of those two states of being. Fear isn't always bad. I mean, it's kept our species alive. If our ancestors hadn't been afraid of the saber-toothed tiger, we probably wouldn't even be here having this conversation. Fear has a very specific job, and that job is survival, and it is exceptionally good at it. So the problem isn't the fear itself. It's when that fear becomes the author of our lives. Fear has one very strong preference. It mistakes the familiar for safe. If something is familiar, the ego assumes, well, we've survived this before, let's stay here. Even if here is exhausting, even if here is unhealthy, even if here no longer fits who we're becoming. Fear would rather choose a familiar discomfort than an unfamiliar possibility, and we rarely realize the cost of that. But the thing is, every single one of us has done it. If you've been around this community for a minute, you've probably heard me say at one point or another that fear is not a good reason to do or not to do anything. This is because fear has that very limited job description. Its job begins and ends with survival. It isn't trying to help you become who you're capable of becoming. It's just trying to help you survive until tomorrow. And these are two very, very different goals. Recently, I had an experience that reminded me of this. I had made a very clear and conscious decision that I wasn't going to invest any more in business mentorship for a while. I was good where I was, and I was just going to apply what I already knew and move forward from there. And then, a coach and mentor that I had worked with in the past approached me with a very special high-ticket opportunity. Logically, it made absolutely no sense. And I had already made my decision. And trust me, there were plenty of reasons to say no. But as I felt into it, every time I imagined saying yes, my body fully relaxed. There wasn't any adrenaline, no urgency, no panic. There was simply a feeling of peace. This exact thing has become one of my clearest indicators that I am moving towards love instead of fear. Now, was it uncomfortable? Did it stretch me and challenge me in unexpected ways? Yes. But here's what I've learned. Expansion and comfort are absolutely not the same thing. A choice that's rooted in love can ask more of you. It can require courage, invite you into the unknown. But underneath it, there's a quiet steadiness. There's an inner knowing that says, this is true, and this is right for me. On the other hand, fear often feels urgent. It says, decide now or you might miss the opportunity. What if this doesn't work? What if you fail? What if people judge you? And if we're not really paying attention, we start believing that urgency is wisdom. This is especially important right now. We are living in a time where fear is constantly being amplified. Turn on the news, look at social media, scroll for just 5 minutes. Fear gets our attention. This is because our nervous systems were designed to notice threat. And there are entire industries built around keeping us in that state, which means we have to be even more intentional about noticing what's behind this decision. Fear or love? And just so we are abundantly clear, choosing love does not mean pretending that everything is fine or saying everything happens for a reason when something deep inside of you knows something just isn't right. That's spiritual bypassing. And it can look as simple as, this is happening in my life right now, but it's not happening to me, it's happening for me, and I should really count my blessings because so many people have it so much worse than I do. Those things aren't innately bad. But when we don't process our feelings first about the situation at hand, we are just bypassing. So we don't want to bypass grief, ignore injustice, or never feel afraid. I mean, that's just unrealistic. It means that fear no longer makes the final decision. You can feel fear and still choose love. You can feel uncertain and still move toward what expands you. You can hear your ego trying to keep you in the familiar, and with love, thank it without handing it the steering wheel of your life. And that is what inner authority really is. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to listen beneath it, to notice the quieter voice, the one that's not shouting, the one that doesn't manipulate or rush, the one that simply says, this way, and feels like peace. So the next time you're facing a decision, no matter how big or small, instead of asking, what's the right choice? Try changing the question. Which choice moves me towards expansion? And which toward contraction? Am I choosing this because it feels familiar or because it feels deeply true? If fear weren't making this decision, what would I choose? Love doesn't always choose the easiest path, but it always chooses the truest one. And you may not get the answer immediately, but I know you'll be surprised by what surfaces when you ask a better question. You didn't choose to be here to merely survive. You were given this life to participate in it, to grow, to love, to choose. And every single choice you make is quietly or not so quietly shaping the person you're becoming. Choose wisely. Choose consciously. And whenever and wherever possible, choose love. On the other side of fear, there isn't just courage. There's freedom and joy. And best of all, it's the fullest expression of exactly who you are. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love to continue it. I've created a free resource to help you strengthen your connection with your intuition and your purpose. And if you're ready to go even deeper, my Tap Into Your Intuition program is designed to help you hear and trust that quiet inner guidance in your everyday life. You'll find both linked in the description of this video or in the comments section below. So until next time, be gentle with yourself. And remember, fear may try to protect you, but it's love that helps you become exactly who you came here to be. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.